So we're going to learn a new formula that we're going to apply to both prisms and cylinders. So the formula that we're going to use is volume equals area of the base multiplied by the height. Now this formula applies to both prisms and cylinders, but we have to remember there's different ways to find the area of the base. So let's think about this for a second. If I have a shape that has a triangular base, connect, connect, connect. If I have a triangular base down here, I need to remember how to find the area of that base. So the area of this base equals 1/2 base times height. However, if I have a cylinder where my base is a circle, I need to remember how to find the area of this base, the area of the circle. So we have to remember that the area of a circle is pi r squared. We need this information to go forward, so make sure this is copied in your notes. Okay, we are going to find the volume of a rectangular prism when we know that the length is 8, the base is 5, and the height is 3. So, following our steps, what I first need to do is write down all the important information. So, L equals 8, B equals 5, and H equals 3. So on my work, this is step number 1. Step number 2 is to write the appropriate formulas. Well, I first need to find the area of this triangle. Once I find the area of this triangle, I can multiply it by the length to find the full volume. So the first formula I'm going to need is A equals 1/2 BH. Okay, well, B is 5 and H is 3. So let's plug these two into our formula. Area equals 1/2 5 times 3, which means area equals 1/2. These two multiply together to get 15. So I'm saying 1/2 of 15. So area equals 7.5. Okay. Now, what I've done essentially is found the area of this triangle down here. Now I need to multiply it by the length in order to get the full volume. So, looking back at my problem, I see the length is 8. Okay, so I'm going to take my previous information and I'm going to plug it into another formula. The volume of the overall prism is the area times the length. Well, I have the area right here, 7.5, and I know the length. So let's just plug it in. So the volume is 7.5 times 8. All right, I'm going to continue my work up here in order. So I have 7.5 multiplied by 8. I'm going to remember how to turn this into a mixed number. 2 times 7 is 14. Add the 1 is 15. So I have 15 halves times 8 over 1. I can cross reduce. Both of these divide by 2. So this becomes a 4. This becomes a 1. And now I multiply straight across. 15 times 4 is 60. 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is 60. But I'm not done. So this was step 4, was showing my work. So step 5 is to put my final answer in an appropriate response. So I'm going back and looking at my problem. I solved for volume. So volume equals 60 units cubed. And remember, we use cubed because we've multiplied 3 measurements together. We multiplied the length, the base, and the height. We multiplied all these 3 things together in order to get our final volume. Okay, so in this problem, we're going to find the volume of a cylinder when the radius is 4 and the height is 14. So just like I started my last problem, I'm going to write down the appropriate information. Radius is 4, height is 14. This is all I need to get started. Now I need to start with my formulas. I need to start with finding the area of the circle, the area of the base. So in order to do that, I need to use the formula. Oops, let's keep it in blue. Area equals pi r squared. All right. Step 3, plug in what we know. Area equals pi times 4 squared. Well, I know that 4 squared is the same as saying 4 times 4, which is 16. So now we're saying area equals pi times 16. Let's actually do the math. 3.14 times 16. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. Remember my placeholder. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And we're going to add all these together. 4, 8 plus 4 is 12, carry the 1. 10 plus 1 plus 1, 8 plus 1 plus 1 is 10. And over here we have a 5. And I cannot forget that I have my 2 jumps for my decimal. Okay, so what I've found, I'm going to continue up here. What I've found is that the area of the circle is 50.24 units squared. But I'm not done because I still need to multiply the area by the height. And the height is 14. So I'm going to plug it into my other formula. Volume equals area of base times height. Here I have my volume of my area, which is 50.24, and I'm going to multiply that times 14. So let's actually set up the problem and do the math. I'm going to minimize this so I have a little more space. There we go. So I'm going to rewrite 50 and 24 hundredths multiplied by 14. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. Can't forget my placeholder. And then 1 times 4, 1 times 2, 1 times 0, 1 times 5. Add them all up. And I can't forget my very last thing, which is my decimal points. 2 jumps over, place my decimal points. Now I'm ready to write my final answer. I'm going to look back at my problem. Okay, what was I solving for? I was solving for volume. So in my answer, my last step, let's get rid of that. In my last step, I need to have volume equals 703 and 36 hundredths units cubed. And I need to box my answer, and this was my step number 5.